YouTube, what it do? We are on episode, I think it's 17. Today I'm gonna talk about moving, cost of moving, how much money you need, things that you may have thought of or may have not thought of. So first thing I want to talk about with moving is how much money that you need. So I would say usually when you go to places, they're gonna say you need like 4 times the rent. So if the rent is $1,000, for example, then you have to be making like $4,000 monthly. And you got to show them like pay stubs and stuff. Like you got to show them proof, that you made at least $4,000 or around $4,000 a month. But that's just like an example. But nowadays rent is like $1,500, maybe like for a nice place $2,000. Like I feel like only like the shits in the hood and the trenches for real is still like below $1,200. Like if you just want just like something decent, it's gonna be like $1,400 and above. At least where I live at. I live in Virginia, and Virginia Beach, that is. But it wasn't always like this as well, and that's something I want to get into. First, let me backtrack. If you not making at least $4,000 or maybe $5,000, I would say save your job. You making $3,000, $4,000. I would say like make that extra money doing DoorDash or Instacart. Make that extra $1,000. That's like what, $250 a week. That's not really hard. Like you go out. Basically, if you go out every evening after you get off or every morning, you make $250. Like that's how many 50s? That's like 50 times 5. So if you make $50 a day, you'll be able to put that income with your regular income, and boom, that's your $5,000. If you make $4,000 from your job and you want to move into a place where you're making $5,000, then just $50 a day for 5 days a week doing DoorDash or Instacart or something like that, you can make that. But in terms of like I was saying earlier, like that's how it was. Like I moved into my place in 2021, I want to say, when I was 20 years old. For a 2-bed, 1-bath, utilities included, had a washer and dryer, good neighborhood in Virginia Beach. It cost me like $1,200, which was like kind of my budget, but it was like pushing my budget, because my budget was like $1,000. Well, it was like $900 to $1,200, but it was just like it was like where I wanted it to be at, because I wanted to move out to Virginia Beach because DoorDash is better out here. I also liked how like it was in the city, but like kind of like tucked away. Like it's like in the cut, so it's like it's nothing to get to the city. The city is like 5 minutes away, but it's like in the cut, and you really won't even like know where it is. Like if I told somebody like where I live at, they probably wouldn't even know where it is, because you can't just drive by and see it, or it's just not in the city. You feel me? Also, not that far from the beach. I like that. It was just like a perfect location. It had everything with it. The 1-bedrooms there was like $1,100. The 2-bedrooms there was like $1,200. So I was like, why not spend $100 more to get the 2-bedroom? And it actually helped me in the long run. But because my mother moved in with me, my advice is, if you don't need two bedrooms, don't get 2 bedrooms. Also, my advice is, if your budget, say your budget is from $1,200 to $1,500. If your max budget is $1,500, try not to get a crib for $1,500 a month. Like that doesn't mean, oh yeah, I'm just gonna look for cribs for $1,500. Like try your best to get $1,200, because it's something called inflation that it's gonna be. If your budget's $1,500, trust me, and you get it for $1,200, trust me, it's gonna be $1,500 in 2 to 3 years. Because nobody never told me is that, number one, inflation, and number 2, the rents raised. All the rents be raising, because that's what landlords do, and that's what these companies over apartments do. They raise the rent. If not every year, every couple of years. You don't really know that until you moved out and you going to renew your lease and sign a new lease. and they're like, yeah, rent's not $1,200 no more, it's $1,350. And you're like, huh? Like, huh? They don't check to see if you're making more money. They don't care about none of that. They don't care if you can pay it. They raising that rent because inflation, you feel me? And I don't know if it's because of COVID as well, like how everything was kind of cheaper in COVID, and you know, everything was like price normal, and then they just, after COVID happened, you know, they want their money back, so they just upped it. So I don't know if it's happened this fast. Like my rent is like, I think my rent is like $1,500 now. It was $1,200 when I moved in. So with like with like fees and stuff like that, it'd be like $1,600, $1,700 sometimes. Excuse me. And that's just like ridiculous, bro. Like, this is crazy. Because I would have never knew that my rent would even possibly go up this much, especially within like 5 years. Like, nobody ever told me that, so I'm telling y'all that. Yeah, so like I was saying, if your budget is $1,500, try to get the lower end of your whatever your budget is. If your budget is $1,500 to $2,000, try to get $1,500. Don't say, oh, my budget's $2,000 and I found one that's $1,950, so yeah, I'm just go with that one. Like, no, if the one that's for $1,600 is straight too, get the one that's for $1,600, because in a couple years, the one that's $1,600 is going to be $1,950. You feel me? So yeah, I said that was a big one. We talked about how much money you need to be making a month, but how much money you actually need in your bank before you move out. Me personally, I would say at least $10,000. And going back to my first video that I made on this channel, how to get $10,000, it's pretty simple to get in a year. Go watch that video if you want to know how to make $10,000 in a year. But if you just can do like $28 a day, and you can have $10,000 in a year. So I would say that if you can save $28 a day, then you can move out in a year, because you'll have $10,000 if you're starting from zero. But I say at least $10,000 because you're gonna have to pay a security deposit that you gotta pay them, and you don't get back until you move out. You feel me? I think I had to pay $1,000 or $500. I forgot. It was something like that. It was so long ago, but you don't get that until you move out. And you have to like not have like any, like, you can't put like no holes in the walls. You can't like mount no TVs if you're like, in apartments. You can't, just mess up the place. You can't have anything that they need to use that money for, basically. So you do that. That's a security deposit. Boom. And then you move in. You probably gotta pay rent soon after you move in. If you move in, say you move in on the 15th, you gotta pay rent in 2 weeks. You don't got a month. You got a month after that, but you gotta pay the security deposit, and then a couple weeks later you gotta pay rent. Now if you move in on between the 1st and the 7th, like the first week, I guess, of the month, then you will have a month until the next time you gotta pay rent. But if you move in any other time, you gotta pay rent the next time that cycle comes around. You feel me? Or you at least gotta pay half rent if you live there half the month. But I had to pay the full rent. I think I moved in the middle of the month, and I had to pay the full rent that next month. So you gotta have money for that. And then you gotta have money for movers. If nobody's helping you move, or if people are helping you move, but you need a couple movers, or you need people to set things up, or just anything. Like if you need help with moving, you gotta pay for that. That's another, you can run through another band. You feel me? I moved 30 to 40 minutes away, and I needed movers because nobody helped me move. So I think I paid them $800. It was 2 movers, and they helped move everything from my crib 40 minutes away. I was living in my mom's crib to my place, to my new place, and like I said, it was $800. So yeah, man. Then you gotta think about what you're gonna eat while you're moving, because moving could be a couple of days or 2-3 day process. So you may not can meal prep, or you may not can just not spend nothing. You're gonna be spending on gas. You're gonna be spending on moving. You're gonna be spending on food. Eating out. When you first move in, you might want to you can either grocery shop, yeah, you can do that, but that's still money. Or you can you know, go out and get something to eat, so that's money. So it's just like little things like add up on top of the big things, and before you know it, you done spent $1,000 like just moving your stuff, paying those people, paying for food, paying for gas, paying for just being out all day and moving. You're exhausted, so that's $1,000 right there. And then you gotta turn around a couple weeks later, pay $1,000 for rent, and then it's just like your money can go from like 10,000 to like 6,000, or like 10,000 to 7,000. So if you have $5,000, you can go down to like $1,000 quick, and then now you only have $1,000 when if you had $10,000 and you go down, say 4,000, now you're at $6,000. So still a little bit of a cushion that you have. So yeah, I would recommend having like at least $10,000 if you're moving, because the expenses that you're gonna be doing, not only when you first move out, but just in those like first couple months, like you're gonna be wanting new stuff for your crib and stuff. Like you're gonna be saying, let me get this, you know, especially if you're buying furniture too, that's another $1,000. Like, or you can use credit for sure, but you're gonna have to pay that back. And remember, always have a plan on how to pay back credit, going back to the last video, because if you don't have a plan, then that's bad debt. But yeah, it just stuff can go, your money can go quick. So I say have at least $10,000. And yeah, that's basically the video. And also be careful of credit, because you probably can use that for the whatchamacallit. You probably can use that for the furniture, or just for pretty much anything when you're moving. But always have a plan on how you're gonna pay it back. Like, are you gonna pay $50 back a month, $100 back? Always have a plan. Budget. Make sure to budget. Like, follow a budget thing when you're before you even moved out, so you make sure that you can track your expenses and follow a budget. I'll say that's very important, because when you move out, like I said, that money can go real fast, and if you're not really careful or aware, that $10,000 that you saved up can turn into like $5,000 quick. So if you have $5,000, you can go to zero quick moving out. And not a lot of people like tell people that. I feel like maybe because I didn't really look at no videos when I was moving out, but your money can go quick. So make sure you budget. So that $10,000 that you saved up it goes to $7,000, and not only does it, you know, go to $7,000, but you don't spend no money after that for it to go to $5,000. You know, maybe you can budget and track your expenses and get exactly what you need. But yeah, like I was saying, just, you know, be careful of those things, and you should be good, man. Like moving out is it's a big move, and it's a big step in the right direction for sure. But next video I'm going to talk about like house hacking, so you can really stack your money and not even have to pay rent. Not have to pay rent until you want to. So this is just like a moving out video if you want to take the route in terms of like not wanting to be a landlord, I guess. But even when you house hack, you know, you don't have to be a landlord, because you could just get somebody to, you know, manage the property for you. But these are some good things to keep in mind if you're just moving out and want to rent. Some things that I wish I knew for sure. So yeah, man, I'll get it with y'all. Next video is gonna be really important, like I said, because if you don't want to rent at all, you can scrap this whole video and watch the next video. And that's really what I wish I knew at 18, 19 years old, when I was, you know, thinking about moving out, to build wealth. You know, I could be in a way better position right now if I knew what I'm about to say in the next video at 18. So stay tuned for that for sure. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all of y'all. I don't think I gained a new subscriber, but the subscribers I do have, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the people commenting. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate the views on my first video. I think it's almost at 550. Should be on the way there. We're on the road to 100 subscribers on here. So, man, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Trying to get this word out to everybody for sure. And I appreciate y'all. Until next time.